Welcome back to the main events of Italian diplomatic activity abroad. This week was dominated by the work of the 80th United Nations General Assembly underway in New York, during which world leaders spoke on ongoing global crises, starting with those in Ukraine and in the Middle East. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni delivered her statement in the high-level debate at the end of the second day on 24th of September, declaring that Russia has trampled on the UN Charter with its war in Ukraine and that in Gaza, Israel has crossed the line. Migration and asylum, criticism of green policies and reform of multilateral institutions were among the topics addressed by Prime Minister Meloni, who also held bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly with the Emir of Qatar, Al Thani, the President of the Syrian Arab Republic, Al Shahara, the President of Paraguay, Peña Palacios, the President of South Korea, Lee Jae-myung, and the acting head of government of Bangladesh, Muhammad Yunus. Accompanying the Prime Minister was the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Antonio Tajani, who, on the 22nd of September, took part in the high-level conference on the two-state solution and in an informal G7 foreign ministers meeting. In his statements, Minister Tajani reaffirmed Italy's support for the process leading to the recognition of a future Palestinian state, once established, with the reunification of Gaza and the West Bank. He also noted Italy's ongoing commitment to civilians through the Food for Gaza initiative, announcing new medical evacuation in the coming weeks. On September 24, Tajani convened and chaired the meeting of foreign ministers in the Western Balkans, which was also attended by the President of the European Parliament, Roberta Metsola. The meeting confirmed Italy's long-standing commitment to simplifying and accelerating the EU enlargement process toward the Balkans. European integration is incomplete without the reunification on the Western Balkans with the European family. Tajani reiterated, stressing that these are countries that are close partners of Italy, with whom it shares historic friendship, cooperation, and mutual trust. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, Minister Tajani participated in the meeting of the Coalition for the Return of Ukrainian Children Abducted by Russia, chaired by President Zelensky and Canadian Prime Minister Carney. According to official Kyiv sources, over 600 minors have died to date, more than 2,000 have been injured, and similar numbers are missing. Nearly 20,000 children have been taken by Russia, and only 1,600 have returned. Deportation, kidnapping, and forced adoption are unacceptable, Tajani said, noting that he also discussed the issue with the Holy Father during a private audience on August 25. The minister's mission concluded with a visit to the Italian consulate to meet Italian businesses and members of the Italian and Italian-American community. Also during the UN High-Level Week on September 24, Under-Secretary for Foreign Affairs Maria Tripodi took part in the EU CELAC ministerial meeting, a preparatory step for the next summit in November in Santa Marta. She also attended an event on the situation in Libya chaired by Massad Boulos, Senior Advisor for Africa to the US President. On September 24, Vice Minister Edmondo Cirielli held a phone conversation with Venezuelan counterpart Andrea Corrao to express the Italian government's appreciation for allowing the Chargé d'Affaires in Caracas to conduct consular visits to Italian nationals Mario Burlò and Alberto Trentini. Cirielli expressed hope for further steps toward a positive resolution of the case. Undersecretary Giorgio Silli was on a mission to Japan for events organized by Italy at the Osaka Expo during the week dedicated to the future of the planet and biodiversity. He took part in an event on nuclear fusion, hydrogen, and digitalization for the energy transition organized by Enea in cooperation with the Italian Embassy in Tokyo. In Tokyo, Silli was received by Deputy Foreign Minister Hisashi Matsumoto for talks on the implementation of the Italy-Japan strategic partnership. On September 23 in Sarajevo, during a ceremony attended by EU Commissioner for Enlargement Marta Kos, the EU delegation to Bosnia and Herzegovina, headed by Ambassador Luigi Soreca, and UNESCO, signed an agreement for the construction of the Ars Evi Museum of Contemporary Art. The project is funded by the European Union with contributions from the Italian government and other partners. Italy has played a leading role from the outset. Italian galleries were the first to donate works by renowned artists, so the Ars Evi collection, founded in 1992 as an act of cultural resistance during the siege of Sarajevo, over 150 works gathered during the conflict, will finally have a permanent home. Meanwhile, in Germany, the 28th edition of the Cinema Italia Film Festival is underway, a showcase dedicated to contemporary Italian cinema in all its forms. The festival opened in Hamburg with a screening of Stefano Chiantini's Una Madre, attended by the director, and will run until 10 of December, touching 35 German cities before concluding in Berlin. The event is supported by the Italian Ministry of Culture, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Italian Cultural Institute of Hamburg and Berlin, and the patronage of the Italian Embassy in Germany. And that's all for now. Thanks for your attention and stay tuned.